Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Gab and Glow podcast. I'm your host, Gigi. I can't, I need to change my name because, oh my God, that's like such a weird thing to say on camera. I don't know why. Like I said last week, there's just too much teeth. I got to figure that out. I've got to practice that a lot more because that's weird. Okay, anyway, welcome back. Today, the vibes are rancid. I'm not gonna lie. This whole week has honestly been rough AF. And I've been like really struggling and I've just been like really just trying to like hold it all together because I've just got so much shit I gotta do. Like I really don't like have time to have a mental breakdown. So I'm kind of just like trying to go. And I just feel like I feel like I've been fighting an uphill battle for a really long time, and I just feel like I had like a little like end in sight kind of, and that has gone away unfortunately. So now and I'm not really like ready to once the whole process is over, I will, go through all of it, but right now I'm just like in the process of doing something that is really exciting and really big. However, it's really emotionally taxing and it's been really hard for me, and I'm really excited to get to that end point because it's going to be so exciting and I'm going to be able to do a lot of things that I've been kind of putting on hold until that point because I do need that certain thing that I'm talking about. So, I know it's so annoying when people are like vague, but I want to kind of hold on to that for a little bit, but just no, I've been struggling. I have a lot on my plate and I'm losing it. And I'm like literally, I'm so close to starting my period. Like it's probably going to be tonight because I've been absolutely a raging monster. Well, that's not true. I feel it in my head. I definitely check a lot of it. Most of the things that slip out are like tears. I don't really like go off on anybody when I'm upset. I just send my friends long Snapchat rants, you know? You gotta keep it in the drafts, tell your friends, tell the group chat, whatever. Um, I don't need to make it everyone else's problem. So yeah, I'm kind of just trying to because I don't really like to be negative. I really do like to try to, look for the positives and stuff like that. I just feel like I'm just being hit like a truck with a lot of things. And I think like I definitely hit my breaking point yesterday and I was just like sobbing and I was like, I feel like I've just been like fighting an uphill battle and like I saw the light. So I just kept going and I kept going and I kept going because I knew it was right there. I had a date that things were going to get better. And that day is no longer when that thing is happening. So now, um, I think knowing that, like having that like finish line in my brain, like I know it's not like necessarily the finish line, but in my brain that was like the finish line to like all this crap that I'm going through. And it's hard when that just gets, taken away. So yeah, I've just been kind of struggling with that. But that being said, I kind of wanted to dive into a woman's cycle this episode. I kind of just wanted to go over just kind of like the differences between the different phases in our cycle and the different symptoms and how we should be taking care of our bodies during those times. So that's kind of what the main topic for this episode is going to be. Because I just feel like ever since I started getting my period again monthly, I've just been really aware of just like kind of certain like changes in my mood, my strength, and my fatigue, like all those, just all the things, just the things that our hormones affect. And just like when we have certain hormones rushing in and other hormones like dipping to promote, you know, that phase in our cycle, we have certain like hormonal repercussions for that. Like our body like is affected in certain ways, as we all know. But I think it's just like interesting to kind of I think we kind of know how we feel like when we're on certain parts of our period. But I do think that sometimes I'm like, oh my God, I'm just crazy. And then I think this has kind of helped me maybe be like more kinder to myself and just kind of be able to like listen to my body a little bit better. So yeah, I think that it's really important to kind of like know this. And I think a lot of people know like the menstrual phase of their cycle, but I think like a lot of the other phases are obviously overlooked because they're not as obvious because you're not bleeding. So yeah, it's like you kind of have to be more in tune to like the other things in your body that might be like shifting, that can kind of like help you kind of pinpoint where you are, but also just like I feel like just understanding myself just helps me feel a lot better about, I guess, like I feel like understanding brings like peace to me. I don't know if that if that's helpful for everybody, but I thought it'd be interesting to kind of like, you know, especially for the people who literally don't have sex ed and like literally never get to learn this stuff if they don't look it up. Like luckily people have like the internet and everything, so they can like fill in the gaps of their education. But I think a lot of women really know nothing about their cycle, which is really sad. So yeah, I think we should all learn it. So that's what we're going to talk about today. But first, I do want to talk about some life updates and just some things. I'm trying to figure out. Okay, I was trying to figure out the way I'm going to like say all these things because they're kind of like different levels of like happy and sad. And I don't know what the right cadence is of like which ones to put in, which ones to say first, which ones to say last. I think I'm going to do all the happy stuff and then I'll kind of just like end with the sad stuff and then we'll go into being a woman. Oh, how I love being a woman. You know that that TikTok sound. Every time I'm with my friends, that sound plays in my head. I just love it. But yeah, so life updates. Traitors, I'm sad. I am caught up. One thing I do love about Traitors is if like you're behind, because there's only one episode a week, you can really catch up with it easily. I was like kind of scared to start it because I thought I was like way behind. I was thinking that it was like a Love Island type situation and it's been on for 9 weeks, but there's also like 5 episodes per week or 6 episodes per week. You know, like that's what I was thinking it was. So like when I don't realize that, like, which ever since I've gotten super invested in Love Island, this has never happened to me. Actually, that's not true. What happens is like when UK comes out, I feel like sometimes I don't realize that they're going to be doing UK. Like I always know when they're doing US, but I don't always know when they're doing UK. And so I think last season, I started so late and I was trying to catch up, but it was literally impossible. And I was like, I just can't do that. And like, because it was going on the same time US was going on, I literally could not keep up. I had to just pick US and US was popping off. And like when I was trying to watch UK, that season just wasn't really good. And Harriet and Ronnie were honestly just like annoying me. And I think Nicole and Kieran, I also didn't really like them that well. Again, I didn't get that far into it, so it's like I'm sure though like the opinions probably changed, but I was just like not about it. So I did skip that season, but I liked the season before that. I thought that season was really fun and good. So yeah, anyway, that was like a tangent on Love Island, but yeah, I'm caught up on Traitors. I'm really excited that I didn't have to weed through like 900 episodes. So I'm so excited. I'm not caught up on the one because I'm recording this on a Friday. I'm not caught up in the one that came out yesterday because I was having a mental breakdown. I was going to watch it. And I just couldn't watch anything that like Traitors isn't dark by any means, but it's like strategic and people like lie and manipulate and like, sometimes those types of things just like make me like uncomfortable, and I was just already like in such a bad headspace that I just didn't really feel like I was just not in the mental space to watch Traitors is really what it was. But I do love it, and um so I'm just gonna like, if you're not past episode 9, don't listen to this part, skip ahead. But yeah, I didn't like Carolyn. I am glad that she's gone. And like right now I'm at the point where like Danielle is recruiting someone. She's the only traitor left. So she wanted to recruit Brittany. I guess we don't know if Brittany said yes or if she's murdered. So we'll have to find that out. Well, you guys already know that probably if you're watching it. I don't know that. So I don't know. I don't hate, like, I like Danielle. I think I liked her more than Carolyn, but I don't love Danielle because I do think that like there are parts of her like shtick to like throw people off the scent that are just so obvious, and it's just honestly kind of annoying that no one's like seen through that, or like I don't know, like I don't know. There's just so many times where I'm like, that is so fucking obvious. Like, how are you sitting there crying? How are you falling on the floor and shaking? Like, get a grip, girl. Come on. So yeah, those are the only things that kind of like annoy me with her, but I do like her. Also, I have a correction for last week because I was saying I was listening to people who have been on, was it last week? I don't know, whatever week we were talking about Love Island. I had said that Georgia Harrison was on Love Island 3 times, but I meant Georgia Steele because Georgia Steele and Toby, you know how they were like a thing. They were both obviously on like their original Love Island seasons. And then they were both on All Stars, but before they were both on All Stars, they were also on Love Island Games, which I think is technically a US show. So maybe that's why like on the UK Love Island, they like just don't, they literally just like don't acknowledge that it exists at all, because they'll be like, yeah, this is their second time on Love Island, and I'm like, no, it's their third. Like, what do you mean? But I don't know if maybe they don't classify games because it's not so much, sorry, my back was itching, not so much like a dating show, but it's still like you can obviously find love there. It's encouraged. It's just kind of hard because there's so many like so much random shit coming at you that you really have no control over. So yeah, I don't know, maybe that, but like, I think if you go on Love Island Games, it's pretty clear that you go for the money, right? And so I feel like people who go on Love Island Games and then go on Love Island again after that, I think are really only looking for the money. Looking at you, Toby, Georgia Steele, and Curtis. So yeah, sorry, that was just my correction. Sorry to Georgia Harrison, you weren't on 3 times, you're only on 2 times. The next update that I wanted to talk about was just like the pop girlies are popping. Pop music is popping off. Tate McRae's new album, love it. I think, of course, I don't know, you know, I'm so basic. I really do think that like my favorite song is still what's it called? 2 Hands. I just want you to hands on me like. Sorry. Love that one. I also love I'm Okay Is Okay. You know, like I love the older ones that have been out for a little bit, but like from the newer ones that came out, I would say I love Signs. I think that one's really fun. I like I Do. I love I Know Love. Yeah, those are some really good ones. I do like Miss Possessive too. Honestly, the whole album is really good. I really liked it. I think the slower songs I'm not as drawn to because I do think maybe I'm just so, from her, I'm looking for that like dance, like fun type of music maybe, Whereas like, you know, maybe I'm just not so used to her doing like her slower stuff. So maybe that's why I'm not like immediately drawn to it. And maybe just as I listen to the lyrics and like understand the storyline, I'll probably, you know, those will probably move up on my list. But I just think as of right now, like I'm really drawn to just like the beats of like a lot of the like more upbeat songs. Short and Sweet Deluxe came out on Valentine's Day. I forgot to talk about it, but oh my god, I've been listening to Busy Woman nonstop. It's my favorite. I was listening like when the original album came out. I was listening to that on YouTube like all the time. And then I think it got took down. It got taken down at some point, and so then I had to find another one. And so now I'm just so glad that I can just listen to it on Spotify like normal. And then also 15 Minutes is also one of my favorite ones. Love that one. Please, Please, Please with Dolly Parton. I do love the country. I love the country vibe. And I think it's iconic to have Dolly. Like, I do think it was like a fun choice. And I think the same way for like, I think because she featured on one of like Beyonce's songs and Post Malone, one of Post Malone's songs as well. Like, I think it's iconic, and I know like it's fun for her, but and I feel bad because I do love Dolly Parton. I do love her, but I feel like with the little like features she's been doing lately, it's just like, how do I just her voice just sounds like it's really struggling to like come out. I just don't know that she has the lungs that she used to. And I feel like it's very clear in those like features, and it does like kind of throw off the song for me. But I do think that I'm also one of those people that I love to sing and I love to imitate. I actually have a very bad like imitating problem when it comes to singing. Like I cannot sing like myself if like I'm listening, like if I'm listening to an Ariana Grande song, like my voice is going to sound like similar to Ariana Grande. But yeah, so like I'm very much like of an imitator. So I think it's hard like when songs kind of get like that and I'm like, okay, well, I don't know, I feel like that's rude. I'm not trying to be like rude, fuck. Because I do love Dolly Parton. I don't think she's like a bad singer. I just feel like she has no air in her lungs. And I know like a lot of people are saying like this is how like Dolly Parton sounds. Like, no, it's not. Like, I get what you're trying to say, but it would sound like how Dolly Parton sounds if there was more power behind it. But it's like it's similar to how she sings. Like it is her voice, but it's just like the power is missing, and I think it like completely takes like the wind out of her voice. No pun intended. I don't know. I just feel like it doesn't really do it for me. Because I feel like it just really like, I think it really like just disrupts like the flows of the songs. I especially felt that way when I was listening to the one that she featured on for Post Malone. That was like the first time that I really like realized I was like, man, like I just feel like she just sounds like so different. And I guess and like, and not I guess, I totally get how like, you know, I'm sure as you get older, you know, you have harder time breathing. So you're probably gonna like lose that power. I think a lot of people do. So it's natural, but I think it's just, I don't know. They could at least edit it to give her a little bit more like oomph, like give her a little bit more backing, give a little more power behind her. So it's just not so obvious, because like I think everyone was like clowning her for it. And I'm not clowning her for it. Like I don't think that it was like horrible. I'm just saying, like, I don't know, maybe they needed to edit that better. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if I'm being a bitch. Again, I told you, I'm like literally about to start my period. Like I'm like in the middle of like I'm like at the end of my luteal phase, but like right at the beginning of like my menstrual phase. And I think I'm just not not myself, but I don't know, maybe I'm just a little bit more unfiltered, more unhinged. I don't know. I feel that. Love you, Dolly. No hate, no shade. Just, I don't know, maybe like use an inhaler before you get on that mic, babe. I don't know. Um, God, is that gonna get me canceled? It's fine. We'll leave it. Selena Gomez's new single, that one is fun. I love it. And I love Gracie Abrams. I do like that she featured on that as well. So yeah, that's a really fun song. I loved it. Such a good single. I love Selena's music. Her voice isn't like fully there. Like, I don't think she's like the best vocalist in the world, but I think that she makes really good fun songs that I just love. And I think I've always loved the lyrics in her songs. I've always like really connected to like a lot of the messaging in a lot of her songs. So yeah, I do feel very drawn to Selena Gomez. I do love her. Yeah, love you, Selena. Thank you for the new single. Did anyone see that video of her like it was just so awkward because they're like playing it and everyone's recording her and she's literally it's like she was having like a rare beauty event or something like that, but then she had just released the single, and so she was like, or she was just about to release a single, so she was like, you guys are gonna be the first ones to listen to my singles, and she's playing it, but she feels so awkward, so she's sitting there like this, like she has her like hands under her face, her hands under her face, and she's like this, looking down at the ground, closed eyes, like she just looks terrified. And just imagine standing in front of a room of people, they're recording you and you're just like this, and then she'll be like kind of like dance. Oh my god, she's just like, I don't know, honestly that's me though. The thing is I wouldn't have even played it at that point. Like if I was gonna be standing there feeling awkward, I just wouldn't have played it. I've been like, hey guys, I'm gonna send you a link so you guys can be the first persons to listen to this. Like I'm not gonna stand there, like unless I'm performing it or something, I'm not gonna stand there and be like, okay, what do you guys think? You know, like I just feel like it's a little bit funny. I thought it was silly. Next, pop girly, Addison Rae's High Fashion. I like it. I don't love it as much as Diet Pepsi. I liked Aquamarine too, but I also like wasn't as like Diet Pepsi is like the song for me. High Fashion I do think is fun. I do love when she's like, I know I'm drunk, but, and then it like hits the chorus. I don't know. I think it's fun, but, and I do think she has good beats. Obviously she's besties with Charlie, and you know, they'd be up in the studio DJing and stuff. So, yeah, I don't hate it. It's not my favorite song, but I like it. Oh, I feel like I got so off on like that Dolly Parton tangent that I never like really finished talking about the short and sweet deluxe album. So I do just want to say Couldn't Make It Any Harder is also a beautiful song. I love it. I do have a problem, like whenever I'm singing it like on my own, I'll be singing it and I accidentally always like switch into Hopelessly Devoted to You like at some part, and I think it's because I've accidentally like listened to a TikTok video that like mixed them, so now I'm all confused in my head because the melodies are so similar. So I do love that though, because I do love her rendition of Hopelessly Devoted, so I do think that that's like a beautiful little like you know, mirror there, and then, or like a sampling. And then what was the other one? Oh, Bad Reviews. That one's cute. I like that one. I guess it's about Barry, right? But yeah, I do like that one. That one's really cute. But yeah, 15 Minutes and Busy Woman are going to be like my top two on the deluxe part. And then lastly, for music, I have Trisha Paytas's new EP. I love it. It's so fun, so silly. Just camp. It's just, I listened to it while I was walking on the treadmill because it also has like a good like beats like through at least 3 of the songs. There's one song that's like very slow and it's called Lullaby, so it's probably like, I assume it's probably like maybe like the song. I don't know. I didn't really listen to that one because I was on the treadmill while I was listening to the There's 4 songs. I skipped one of them because it was slow. So the other 3 I listened to. So I do love, I think Bubbly's probably like my favorite. And then I do like McGriddle too. Um, yeah, they're fun. I like them. I think if you like a good beat and you like a little like fun, silly song, listen to it. It's fun. I like it. All right, so that's it for music. Now we're gonna move on to just something a little sad. Um, because I'm really sad. Like I'm really, really, really sad about this. Actually, I cried for I don't even know how long, and I think it's hard because I think we're just it stinks like, and I know like everyone experiences this, but like when you start getting to the age where like the celebrities that you love that made certain like medias that you've consumed for years, that you have loved and fallen in love with, like when those people who created those things or worked on them or whatever the case may be pass away. I feel like it's a very it's weird because it's like you don't know them but you feel so connected to them, like very much like the parasocial relationship. um and so I think it's really hard. I think now that we're kind of getting to that age where a lot of people and things that we like are unfortunately passing away. It does kind of fuck with me mentally because I feel like I know them when I know I don't, but they just like had such a like a big piece of my life. So it's just kind of like a weird feeling. But anyway, um, rest in peace to Michelle Trachtenberg. Absolutely horrific. When I saw the um post, I was done. I was so sad. She was such a big part of my childhood and my teenage years. And I'm distraught. And I feel like, this comes a couple of months after like the Liam thing, and I think it's really sad, and it's really hard to sometimes it's really hard to process these things when you didn't really know them, but like you feel like you have a connection with them, like you did know them. So, obviously, it's horrible for her family, and everyone who did know her. But I think also the people who were fans of her since she's been acting since she was young. So, whether you know her from Harriet the Spy or you know her from Ice Princess, or if you know her from Gossip Girl, or just wherever you know her from, you have had some sort of like connection with her, most likely, because those are all like really big, like influential things from like our childhood. Like you probably have just like a really deep connection with her. And so I just feel like, yeah, it's I think it's weird as fans that now I think as a fan, I'm more talking about myself. Like I feel like I'm talking like I'm speaking generally, but I feel like maybe it's more of like a personal thought. But I've known her for so long, not known her personally, but I've been watching her for so long, that I think it's just gonna, and I think it's just because okay, so I'm trying to find the words to say, I think, but I think the best way to give an example of this is just like, like with Liam. Now every time I listen to a One Direction song, it's like it'll never be the same again. And that's how I feel like it's gonna feel when I watch Ice Princess for the first time. It's also like, Matthew Perry, the guy who played Chandler on Friends, he died, I think, a year or so ago. And Friends has been a comfort show for me since I was in high school. It was one of my favorite shows. I know every single episode like the back of my hand, and I would always put it on when I need comfort. It was one of my ultimate comfort shows. And because and like sometimes I can watch it. I think it also depends on like the mental state I'm in, because sometimes like I can listen to One Direction or watch Friends, and like it doesn't immediately dawn on me. But if it doesn't immediately dawn on me, it'll normally dawn on me probably like halfway through, if not earlier. And then I'm just so sad, because then that's all I can think about, and just like how that person is like not on this earth anymore, and like I felt so connected to them for so long, and this was such a comforting thing for me, and now like knowing that they're not here anymore, it makes it less comforting, I guess. It makes it more of a sad thing than a comfort thing when I consume those medias. So I think I think it's just an interesting like kind of thought that I'm having, and just like how I process these types of things. Because obviously we know like as we're gonna get older, everyone unfortunately does pass away at some point. And it's just I think as also like as I'm getting older, that's why I feel like I'm spending so much more money on like tickets to things, because I feel like I never know if that's going to be the last chance I have to see them. Like, and I know it's like sometimes it's like, oh, but this concert, well, they'll come back, they'll tour again, and I don't want to put that out there, but like what if they don't? Like you just never know. And so I think like I've been feeling like this weird thing with the people who create the media that I consume. I feel like, I just have this very like now or never mentality if I do have the option to see them or something. So I don't know. I feel like that might be something like OCD in me. I feel like that has to be an OCD symptom of some sort. I don't know. I'm gonna have to look that up. I'll figure that out. I'll let you guys know if it's related to OCD. But yeah, I'm extremely sad to hear that Michelle Trachtenberg has passed. My heart goes out to her family, her friends, everyone who has known her in person, and everyone who she's touched through her movies and shows and all that. I did just want to say that where I was introduced to her was Ice Princess. I was elementary. I mean, when I was in elementary school, it would come on all the time on TV, and my mom had these laminate floors, and I would put my socks on, and I would like pretend to be Ice Princess, and I would watch it all the time as a child. It was just one of my all-time favorite movies. And when I'm having a really bad day, when I really need some comfort, normally I will go to Disney Plus, and I'll normally do a double feature. I'll normally do Ice Princess and Princess Diaries. So just know that the next time that I need to watch that movie, it's going to be extremely hard for me. I know that. So it makes me sad, because also like someone that I've loved to watch throughout my years growing up is, no longer. And just like anytime I get sad when people die in general, like people I don't know like anything about. Like I've just, that's been really weighing on me a lot lately. And so I think like when it's someone that I do feel like I have a connection with, I feel like I just have an even harder time processing it. So, yeah, I'm really sad about that. I'm sure a lot of other people are also really sad about it. This is just not, I feel like it was so unexpected expected, but at the same time, it's like, you know, she just had that liver transplant, and I know she had, she was kind of showing signs. I think people were like saying like she was kind of showing signs of like jaundice and stuff, which is like what people were like commenting like on her appearance about like recently. And so I think she probably was having some surgery complications, which is so sad and unfortunate. Rest in peace, and she'll be my ice princess forever. Love you. Okay. Well, I'm sorry that was so sad. I wasn't sure to like start it off. I was originally going to say it first, but I just felt like I don't want to be sad and then go into like all these like more like happy-ish stuff. So I just felt like that was probably the best thing to talk about before we talk about being a woman and navigating our monthly cycles. So the main reason why I wanted to talk about this week and why I kind of went down this rabbit hole of looking all this stuff up is because this past week I've been having just a really hard time like mentally, but I've also been feeling so tired. I've been really sticking to my workout routine too. And you know, those same weights that I was doing last week that were totally fine, I was struggling to lift this week, and I was like, oh my god, like why am I so weak this week? I feel like I'm just so fatigued. I just don't understand. Like I'm trying so hard to do like everything right and go to bed early and like, you know, follow my routine and all this stuff, and I just still feel like shit, you know. And then as I really started like, actually, no, I didn't even start looking it up at first, actually. It just kind of came up on my TikTok or my Instagram. It was one of them, and someone was like, oh, like when you're in your luteal phase and like they're at the gym and they're like trying to, or it's like the same way, and it's like on your ovulation phase versus like your luteal phase, and it's like, you know, you're strong, you're pushing your weights no problem, and then it's like you're struggling to like push. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's what it is. Like that's where I'm at in my cycle. Like that's why I feel like that. Like I was being so hard on myself, being like, you lazy piece of shit, like get up, get your ass moving, do the things. I don't care if this weight is hard, push it. You did it last week. I don't know what the fuck your problem is. Like I was fucking David Goggins on me. Like I was fucking just beating myself down, and I was also just having like insane mood swings. I was having really bad cravings. I was like, I'm on a health journey. I'm on a weight loss journey. And I think in the times I'm having those really bad cravings, and I do like, cause I'll give in, like, I don't restrict myself too much, because I think like that's even worse. Like, cause then I'll just start binging and going crazy. So it's like, if I'm really craving fucking Taco Bell, like I'm going to get it. But sometimes then after that, I do feel like a little bit guilty about it, and I know like that's wrong, and that is something that I'm like trying to work with myself on, because I don't think like I should be feeling guilty about it. Like I shouldn't be feeling guilty about eating something that I really wanted and needed at that time when I was in my luteal phase, you know what I mean? So it just kind of like, I feel like understanding our cycle just kind of like helps us understand ourselves, you know, and just like be more in tune with ourselves, like emotionally and physically, or like understanding like where those feelings are coming from, or like your changes in your mood, your cravings, your fatigue, your strength, like all those things. Just kind of like understanding why those things will fluctuate throughout your cycle, I think really just, I think will kind of help us just be less hard on ourselves, give ourselves like more grace when we need it. And also another thing that I think people don't really think about, like, which I didn't even think about until I started doing this research, is if you eat in sync with your menstrual cycle, it can really help balance like your hormones, boost your energy, reduce PMS symptoms, like all these things. But like no one taught us how to do that. No one told us like, oh, if you're in this cycle, you should really focus on this. If you're in this cycle, you should, or in this phase of your cycle, you should focus on this. So it's like we're not just taught that. So it's like we are just kind of like set up for failure and PMSing. And then it's like, then people, oh, she's just PMSing. Well, maybe if we knew how to avoid those symptoms, maybe it wouldn't happen as often. But anyway, so that's what I kind of want to focus on today. I'm just going to talk a little bit about each cycle. I want to talk about like kind of what happens in the cycle, because I think a lot of people also don't like understand like what the difference is between each cycle. I knew, but only because like I knew what happens in each cycle, and that's only because like I was on track to be a nurse at one point when I was in college. I learned it in like my anatomy and physiology classes and stuff like that. So that's the only reason why I really know it. But I think before that I didn't really know it. I know a lot of people who don't. So I thought it'd be just like interesting to kind of go over what happens, what symptoms are related to that phase, and where we can focus on, or what exercise focus we should have in that phase, and also what our focus for our diet should be in that phase. So, yeah, let's get started. I have all my little research right here. So we're going to start with the most common phase that everyone knows about, and that's the menstrual phase. That typically on average would last between 7 and 10 days. Again, that's the average. We all know that as women, we're all over the place, so it might not be the case for you. When I was in high school, I would literally like have my period for like 15 days, I swear. So I know it's not always like that, but on average, it would be about 3 to 7 days. I believe that's like probably if the hormone, like, I'm assuming that this information as far as like the duration and stuff like that is based on like someone who has like perfect hormones and they're all balanced, you know? I think a lot of us have like hormonal imbalances in general. So like that's just going to throw things off. But this is just kind of like if you were to have beautiful hormones that just are not out of whack at all, it would probably last about 3 to 7 days. What happens during this phase is the shedding of the uterine lining, resulting in your menstruation, which is your period, and your hormone levels of estrogen and progesterone are at their lowest. Symptoms during this phase are going to be fatigue, cramps, bloating, and low energy. So if you're really feeling like crap, those 10 pounds weights feel like they're 100 pounds, give yourself grace. In this time for your exercise focus, you're going to want to focus on restorative activities. So that's things like light yoga, walking, if you do want to move around, but also resting, maybe some stretching if you just want to like limber up, some somatic exercise. It's just nothing that's going to deteriorate you. You know what I mean? So that's, I think, just restorative is, you're not, exerting yourself a ton. You're just lightly moving your body, just feeling good type thing. Your diet for your menstrual phase, you're going to want to focus on replenishing nutrients. So some things you can look at is iron-rich foods like leafy greens, red meat, lentils, and tofu, if you like it, to replenish that lost iron. Vitamin C is really good. You can get that from citrus fruits. You can also get it from bell peppers. Bell peppers have more vitamin C than an orange. And strawberries also help. Vitamin C helps absorb iron. So that will kind of work in tandem with your iron rich foods. Healthy fats, so that's like avocados, nuts, seeds, those all support hormone production, so that's just going to kind of help when you're kind of going out of that phase and your estrogen and progesterone are starting to rise and all that stuff. And then just warm and comforting foods like soups, stews, and herbal teas can help ease cramps as well. Lastly, hydration. You're going to want to drink lots of water. You can also do the herbal teas just to reduce bloating. So the next phase, once you're done with your period, your follicular phase would start. That typically, on average, would last about 7 to 10 days. That is when your pituitary gland releases follicle-stimulating hormone, encouraging ovarian follicles to mature. Estrogen levels begin to rise, and the thickening of the uterine lining occurs. Symptoms of this are going to be increased energy, improved mood, and mental clarity. So I know the week after my period, I feel like a superhuman. That's normally when I get all my routines together. That's normally when I like feel like I'm kicking it into gear. And that's just when I am totally aligned with that. I do feel literally like a different person when I'm in my follicular phase. Exercise focuses for this phase, you're going to be looking at, strength training, cardio, your high intensity activities. This is when you're going to have the energy to do those really good muscle building things that you want to do. For diet, you're going to want to focus on light, nutrient-dense foods. So, your protein, your healthy fats, so like eggs, salmon, nuts, Greek yogurt, those help with like steady energy. Complex carbs such as quinoa, oats, and sweet potatoes are good for fuel. Since, you're feeling good, you're going to want to be using this time to, be in the, like, I feel like if you, as a woman, go to the gym during your follicular phase and your ovulatory phase. Once you get to your luteal phase, once you start feeling everything gets a little heavy, you're done with the gym for that month. No, but I just feel like your main weeks of like strength training and like vigorous workout routine, you're probably just going to have most success sticking with that routine during these phases. So just, do your best to stay on your grind during these phases, and you can give yourself maybe a little, like, I like to give myself just like a little bit more grace when I get to those other phases that are just a little bit harder on us, and, just use when I'm feeling good to just, take that next step with myself. And then, when I'm starting to feel bad, starting to pull back and, easing up on those workout routines, things like that. But, the complex carbs help with fuel. So that'll help fuel you when you're in the gym doing your strength training. Leafy greens and cruciferous vegetables, that's spinach, kale, broccoli, those actually support estrogen metabolism. And then fermented fruits like kimchi, sauerkraut, and quinoa are good for your gut health. And our gut health kind of just is very much related to everything in our body. So just gut health is great when you're, because you're in your follicular phase, you're kind of just replenishing your body from like what you lost in the menstrual phase, and just like kind of getting yourself back to like your normal like baselines. So these kind of these diet recommendations are going to kind of help support that. The ovulatory phase is next, and that typically lasts about 3 to 4 days. What happens then is a mature egg is released from the ovary, and that's due to a surge in luteinizing hormone. Estrogen peaks also during this phase, and testosterone. Oh my gosh, my my pronunciation is so off today. I'm so sorry, but yes, we have the surge in luteinizing hormone. We also have peaks in our estrogen, and our testosterone also briefly rises. Symptoms of this are going to be high energy, confidence, and peak physical performance. So if you thought you were doing good in your follicular phase, oh baby, you have never seen nothing till you saw you in your ovulatory phase. And yeah, I do feel like I'm the hottest bitch alive in the ovulatory phase. I do feel like I it's so interesting because like you don't think about it. You're just like, oh, I'm feeling really good today, like my mental health is good. And like I feel like I'm not realizing like a lot of those days it's because I'm in my ovulatory phase and I have some extra testosterone in me that's helping me feel very confident and in my peak physical performance. So again, those weeks your exercise focus is going to be, or that those couple of days are going to be intense workouts like HIIT, heavy lifting, competitive sports. That's just when you're going to be rocking it, socking it. If you're a UFC fighter, baby, you got to plan your fights for the ovulatory phase because that's when you're going to be jacked up the most. For your diet, you're going to want to focus on anti-inflammatory foods during this phase. So some of those foods would be lean protein, chicken, fish, and beans help muscle support. Fruits and antioxidants, such as berries, pomegranates, and dark chocolate are very helpful for hormone balance. And magnesium-rich foods like pumpkin seeds, dark leafy greens, and almonds help support ovulation. And then again, hydration is very important in this phase. Some things that can help, regular water, coconut water, herbal teas help just stay refreshed and hydrated before you go into that luteal phase. So this is the longest phase and it's also the most hellish. I feel like I'm like worse in the luteal phase than I am in my menstrual phase. I don't know why. I feel like maybe because like it's like close to when the ovulatory, or not the ovulatory, the follicular phase is. In the follicular phase, you start feeling better. So I feel like I'm just like, I feel like it's like follicular phase, ovulatory phase, luteal phase, menstrual phase, follicular phase. Like that's how I feel. It's like so I just feel like I'm like trying to go like all the way over here and I'm like looking at, I wasn't thinking about it and then I'm looking at myself in the camera. I'm like, I look so dumb right now. But anyway, that's how I feel. Okay. So the luteal phase anyway, it typically lasts between 10 and 14 days. The end of your luteal phase is marked by the beginning of your period. What happens in this phase is progesterone rises to prepare for a potential pregnancy. That was a tongue twister. Like, why did I say so many P's? Okay. If no fertilization occurs, then the hormone level drops and then the PMS symptoms may appear. So, yeah, I think we have a lot going on hormonally in that phase. Like, things are rising. If you don't have fertilization, then they're dropping. And you're probably just like, whoa, what the heck is going on? Sorry, I don't know why I'm holding this pen. You're just like, what the heck is going on? There's just so much hormones just rushing in, rushing out, all the things. So the symptoms of this phase are going to be fatigue, mood swings, cravings, especially in the late luteal phase. So, probably in the beginning of your luteal phase, you're probably feeling more close to how you felt in your ovulatory phase or your ovulation phase. And then once you're getting towards like the back end of that 10 to 14 day period, you're going to probably really start feeling those symptoms. I know I do. Personally, I'm literally not okay in my luteal phase. My boyfriend knows to run. No, that's not true. I'm not that mean. I think I'm just more like, I'm not even mean, and I don't really pick a fight or anything like that. It's more just like I'm not so pleased to be around others. It doesn't matter who they are. So it's just like I just tend to want to be more introverted, I think, during those times. And so I'm just less like, bubbly and lovey and all that stuff. I kind of just like go inward. But yeah, the fatigue, the mood swings, I'm just always super depressed on my Leo phase. And so I think before I really understood like how the phases worked and all that, and just like how they affect like your mental health and all that stuff. I was just like, why am I just all of a sudden just so depressed? Like I've been go for the last 2 weeks, feeling good, whatever. All of a sudden I want to die. What is that about? That's the Leo phase, baby. So yeah, mood swings, cravings, all the things. I feel like I definitely repeated that, but important. Your exercise focus during this phase are going to be more moderate exercises. So things like Pilates, cycling, brisk walking. Your more body weight activities that, aren't so chill that they're not the yogas and the slow walks and just the resting, but it's still kind of pulling back from that like heavy go. I'm lifting weights, I'm high intensity. Like you're starting to kind of pull back from that go vibe in your exercise and just starting to slow things down a little bit. So, I really would love to do like a Pilates during my luteal phase. I feel like that'd be so nice because I really like on it. Like lately, I really just keep going to the gym, and I think I just end up having to like I don't really lower my weights, but I probably just have to do like less reps normally, or like I'll do like my normal reps for like the first and the second set, but like the last set, I'm like, okay, maybe only get like halfway through, and I have to stop because I literally cannot push. Like the other day, I was trying to like put, and I'm like, I can't do it. Like I can't do it. I'm done. So yeah, I think just starting to, if you don't want to completely change your workout routine, just at least start like just listen to your body more, and just if you are tired, like put the brakes a little bit, you're going to want to shift to those more restorative activities once your PMS symptoms start to set in really bad. So go like back to, or go kind of forward into what you would be doing throughout your menstrual phase. Like once your luteal phase starts getting really bad, just start doing more of those like yogas and the slow walks and all those kind of things. For diet for your luteal phase, the biggest thing you want to focus on is balancing your blood sugar, because that's going to help reduce the PMS symptoms. What I love about this is like that's like my balancing my blood sugar is actually like my main focus for my whole month. So I thought it was kind of interesting, like that it is like extra important during your luteal phase. But complex carbs such as brown rice, lentils, chickpeas, those will help prevent cravings. Magnesium-rich foods such as bananas, dark chocolate, and spinach help reduce bloating and mood swings. B vitamins, which can be found in whole grains, eggs, and legumes, help support energy levels, when you're feeling extra fatigued. Healthy fats, such as avocado, flax seeds, and walnuts, help with hormonal balance. Like we said, our hormones are kind of going crazy. Progesterone's rising. It's going to drop really quickly once we're not fertilized. So that'll kind of help even everything out. They do recommend, I never do this, So I'm not saying that I do all this perfectly. I'm just saying that this is what's recommended by science, okay? It is recommended to limit caffeine, alcohol, and processed sugar to minimize PMS symptoms. So if you're on your period and if you're in your luteal phase and you're PMSing hardcore and you've been binge drinking all weekend, maybe stop. But yeah, I mean, like I'm addicted to caffeine. I can't not have caffeine, so normally I have it anyway. Processed sugar, I try to be good on like my sugar. I try to do like my healthy stuff and like sugar replacements like stevia and stuff for the most part, but if you give a bitch a cookie. All right. Well, those are our 4 phases. I hope that this was kind of interesting. If you didn't already know this information, I hope that this just kind of helps you understand yourself a little bit more, understand your cycle, and just helps you kind of support yourself through your cycle, and giving yourself grace and all the things, so and I hope it was interesting. I found all the stuff like while I was doing this research, I found it really interesting, so I just wanted to relay it to everyone. And I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I would love to kind of do more things like just diving into like women and like our bodies and just like all that kind of stuff, just stuff that might just help us understand ourselves a little bit better as we go through our lives. So if there's any like other like woman physiology specific or anatomy or physiology like questions that we're curious about, let me know. I'm happy to do the deep dive on it, and we can all learn. All right, well, let's do our daily affirmation. Okay. It's okay. Mistakes are just proof that you're trying. Don't give up. And I think I really needed that today and this week. I hope that this affirmation helps you get through the rest of your week. And I do love these daily affirmations. Like, I feel like I always pull out the one that just feels, because I always just like kind of pull it out, see what I get. And I do feel like it's kind of like a little horoscope or like a fortune cookie type thing. Like, I feel like I get what I always need. But yeah, I do think that. Ooh, sorry. I'm so tired. I've been up for so long. I've been working like a dog all week, all day. I've been sobbing all week. I'm just so drained. So yeah, I'm excited that this week is over. Happy Friday. And I hope everyone has a great weekend. I want to hear from you, so please comment, leave a Q&A, email me, DM me, whichever way you want to get in contact with me. Let me know what you think of the podcast and what your thoughts and opinions are on what we talked about today, the women's cycle. Do you resonate with what we talked about? Do you feel like your body is kind of on its own cycle and it's not doing anything that we talked about? Do you feel like you can now pinpoint when you're in those certain phases of your cycle? I'm curious. So yeah, let me know what you think. And then if you are liking the podcast, please leave me a rating on Spotify. And don't forget to listen to new episodes dropping every Friday. Also, subscribe on YouTube if you want to watch on YouTube instead of Spotify. The podcast Instagram and TikTok is Gab and Glow Podcast. The Gab and Glow Podcast YouTube channel is just Gab and Glow Podcast. Personal Instagram and TikTok for me is _GIGI Raju_. Lastly, please DM me stories or email them to gabandglowpodcast@gmail.com. I'm always accepting stories like worst dates, worst breakups, family drama, crazy exes, honestly, any crazy lore, drop it to me to be read on the pod anonymously. Thanks for gabbing with me, and don't forget to keep on glowing. Bye.